How's it going, gamers? Chongo here with another video for you guys, and today it's a Mass Effect 3 first impressions on the Xbox 360, so let's get into it. Now, I'm only going to talk a little bit about the storyline so I don't sort of spoil anything for anyone, and also, if you haven't played Mass Effect 1 or 2, you should probably play those or find out about those before you watch this video, because, yeah, I'm not going to give a great deal of depth between all the games because yeah, I'm not going to explain all the games in one video. So yeah, go watch those, or if you've played them then that's good, and yeah, you'll hopefully enjoy or understand this. So the first thing you'll notice when you go to play Mass Effect 3 single player is that your character level from Mass Effect 2 will be imported. I'm pretty sure from Mass Effect 1 it doesn't import the level to Mass Effect 3, but one sad thing you'll notice is when you go to import your face, it actually doesn't work, and you need to go through and make it the same or just make a whole new one, which at first seems quite annoying, but if you go through and, like, you don't have to remember the options, but if you kind of just remember what your guy looks like, you can sort of fix it up, but BioWare's apparently doing a patch or something to try and fix that. Now, of course, as always, the Normandy has had a few upgrades and changes to the layout, as it does with every single game. So yeah, when you walk around, you might find some new areas, but they actually sort of do a little bit of a tour this time in the game and actually explain to you where the areas are. So it's almost like introducing people to the series. Now, the beginning of Mass Effect 3 is a lot more epic and action-packed than Mass Effect 2 or Mass Effect 1, and although Mass Effect 1 and Mass Effect 2 are still really good starting, beginning, and all that kind of stuff, but this one seems to get right to the point, to the action straight up. Now, basically, this isn't really a spoiler, but let's just say the main thing of Mass Effect 3 is pretty much taking on the Reapers. And so, like with Mass Effect 1 and Mass Effect 2, you're going around and you're going to get all these people to try and help you take on the Reapers. So yeah, that's the main thing for this game, but this game seems a lot more urgent than in Mass Effect 1 or 2 because, yeah, just the Reapers are a lot more of a threat in this game compared to other ones. So yeah, it's kind of weird, and I don't know how it would feel going around doing side missions when you've actually, got something really important to do that's sort of urgent. But yeah, it sort of feels a bit weird like that. But you get used to the fact that even though it is urgent, you may spend, I don't know, 20 to 30 hours going and doing all these other missions. But yeah, obviously game time is different than actual time passed. So you're probably not actually gone that long. But yeah, it just feels weird that you've got something urgent to do and you're going off and doing all these other little things. Now, a couple of new elements to the game that have been added in from Mass Effect 2 to Mass Effect 3 is basically now enemies can actually have frag grenades as well as your teammates, but it adds a little bit more urgency when you're sitting in cover and an enemy throws a nade at you and you've just got to get the heck out of there as fast as possible. And also, they've added the ability to roll, which is actually quite useful and fun to use instead of just sprinting and taking cover. You've actually got that sort of rolling element as well. Now, also a cool little feature that's in the Xbox 360 version of Mass Effect 3 is you can actually use Connect and do voice commands, and some of them are pretty fun to use. Like, for example, when you have the two options for speech, you can just say one and then it'll automatically choose that one. And I've actually found the system quite easy to use as well. Like, you don't find yourself talking really loud. You can just talk normally and it'll pick up on it. But the only problem is, I can see it's just a bit of a novelty at the moment. It's fun to use, but eventually clicking's always going to be faster and better and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, the way you command stuff, for example, is if you go to a door or a computer or something and you just say use and it cooperates and opens it for you. And also, out of all the times I've said it, I've never actually had it mispronounce what I've said or just sat there and done nothing. It's always sort of known what to do. Now, also in Mass Effect 3, you will see some of the characters from Mass Effect 2 and 1, but I'd recommend, if you haven't played Mass Effect 1 or 2, that you go rent them or buy them or do whatever you want, because, yeah, they're a lot it's just the story continues a lot better than in Mass Effect 3 when you're just running around thinking, who's this guy or why is this important and all that kind of stuff. It's just a lot easier to play those games. Although this one feels a lot more action packed and better than the previous ones. The previous ones sort of do the build up to Mass Effect 3, so yeah, definitely go play them if you can. Now, there was also some paid DLC released for Mass Effect 2, and one that sort of leads into Mass Effect 3 is called Arrival, so I'd recommend, if you are playing Mass Effect 2 before Mass Effect 3, go download Arrival and play it, because it sort of gives a little bit of a backstory which leads into Mass Effect 3. All the other DLC isn't really that necessary, like it's still good to play through it and extra story and that kind of stuff, but it doesn't really, directly give you something in Mass Effect 3 or explain something. It's just, yeah, extra missions and all that kind of stuff. Okay, now moving on to the multiplayer aspect of Mass Effect 3. Now, this is new, that this hasn't been in Mass Effect 1 or 2, and basically by playing multiplayer and actually winning, like if you lose it doesn't count, you actually get up the readiness of the galaxy to take on the Reapers. So if you don't play any multiplayer and then you go to do the final battle or whatever it is in single player, your ending will be affected on how ready the galaxy is. So I definitely recommend, if you actually have got the game new, to go and play multiplayer a bit and get a couple levels up. Win a couple of times so you get the readiness up. Like I'm personally going to get it up to 100 before I go and do the final mission, but yeah, that's just me. So I would definitely recommend getting it up a little bit, because you don't really want to leave it at 50, because that's a little bit risky. So for multiplayer for Mass Effect 3, they've gone with 4-player co-op, and basically what you do is you go and complete objectives on each map and all that kind of stuff. Now, the objectives can be as simple as going and killing certain targets, or going to an area and protecting it while you upload some data and all that kind of stuff. And once you've finished all these little objectives, then you go to extraction. So yeah, and if you win, you get towards the readiness points and all that kind of stuff. Now, in multiplayer, you don't have to just play as humans. You can actually play as, I think it's about 8 main species in the game. So that's stuff like Turian, Quarian, all that kind of stuff. Krogan as well. So yeah, you don't have to stick to that, but that's when you get unlocks and all that kind of stuff. It seems like they've put quite a lot of effort into the multiplayer as well, and it's very addictive to play, and it's actually quite fun. This brings me to the end of my first impressions of Mass Effect 3. I hope you enjoyed it. If you've got any comments, please put them below. And if you like this video, give it a like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. See you guys next time.